28th of July 2017, here with Dan in Essex, UK, down the rather breezy allotment. Now the weather so far this year has been rather good. A month or so ago, very hot temperatures and a bit of rain at the moment, but that's not a bad thing because we certainly do need it. I mean, the ground really was dry. Now it's much better. The allotment's certainly thanking us for it down here, as are the gardens. So we'll start off this allotment tour by looking at the sweetcorn. Now, my long-term viewers know I'm growing this in a no-dig bed, and the tallest plants here are about 5.5 feet tall, and we've got some good crops coming on here. I mean, look at that nice cob there. Generally, each plant here has about 2 cobs on it. Some have got 1, but 2 on average, so I'm quite happy with that. And the no-dig bed here consisted of grass cuttings, leaves, and some good quality compost and some soil as well. And it's looking pretty good. I mean, a few bits and bobs going on here, but no big deal there. Look, nothing impressive on this one here. There we go, one there looking decent. So this one here looking very decent indeed. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to the time when we can peel these off and take them back and boil them up. So that really is a nice thing. Now, I often speak to people about a little bit of preparation, and what we got under here, and this is a no-dig bed, all waiting for setting, probably, I don't know, in the autumn time. You can see the vegetation here, and there's soil and compost as well, and I'm thinking of putting some sprouts in. Now, you're probably telling me that sprouts should be in by now, and generally they should be, but you know me, I like to experiment, and I've got some Brussels sprouts growing away in the polytunnel, but I'm going to probably put them in here when they're of a decent size. And now I do have some thoughts on this, and it's still not totally set in stone what I'm going to put in here, but either way, this is all getting enriched under here, keeping it covered up at present, and we'll be looking to set this bed here. It's probably about 2 metres by about 4 or 5, so there is some space here certainly. Now, nothing particularly amazing going on here. These were put in at a later date, and you can see there is the 2 cobs on this one. This one here is not a lot of cop, but that one there's coming to a decent size, as are these. So going to be getting something off of here, and this bed here wasn't actually enriched. I simply just set the stuff in, or the plants were set in normal soil. There was no manure or compost etc put here, so that could explain for the lack of success, but not say lack of success, it not being as good as other parts of this allotment, but I'm not worried about that. Got a courgette growing away under there at ready for a later date, but what I'm going to do over the winter is heavily enrich this with manure. I'm going to start getting a lot down here, and some compost as well, and really this year this allotment has just been sort of getting it going, but next year I'm expecting some excellent results, and you guys could see how it materialises. I've done a little bit of picking and got some tomatoes here, and these, my long-term viewers know it, I love these tomatoes, and what they're from is over here. They're just from these bush tomatoes that I put in as an afterthought and haven't taken care of them, and they've done incredibly well. Still a few more to come, and the potatoes are looking very good under the soil. Not going to dig any of them up today, but been eating those, and the runner beans that you saw earlier came from here. And you can see plenty of red flowers, plenty of beans. I know this one's too small, but there's variety enorma, and I love eating them when they're like that. You don't want to let them get too big and tough. Obviously you don't want to pick them when they're too small either, but at the same time they're nice when they're tender. I love the flowers on these. Can be particularly nice if you, when you set them up the canes, you get a white flowering variety such as White Lady, and then so one side you put White Lady, the other side you put a red flowering one such as these Enorma or Kelvin and Wonder. So many of them, I'll let you guys look them up, and they can look rather ornamental when they are flowering, adding some colour and productivity from one plant, and I think that's brilliant, so consider that. Sometimes I like cooking up some of the mature ones as well, because even though the pods may well be too much or too chewy and too tough, the beans inside can be nice, so that's good as well. Ideally you want to pick them before they get too tough with the beans inside, but you can't keep an eye on everything. But runner beans, certainly a success down here this year. So looking at the established allotment, I mean, you know, I've spoken about the no dig method many times, and this allotment really does show the results. I mean, look at this lovely kale here, look at the size of that here as well, and I've spoken about the mesh that you want to be using for your cabbages, because this is quite tight knit and it's hard for the cabbage white butterflies to get through, because they really can decimate your crop. Spoken a lot about this, and you really don't want that. And the tomatoes here are looking good. Bit late for my liking, but you can always make a tomato chutney, can't you, if they don't ripen in time. But you know, it's only July, and hopefully that motorcycle, hopefully we'll get another flash of warm weather, and that will help to ripen these. If recent years are anything to go by, I've been having good weather well into October, so let's hope that indeed happens. Now looking here, this sweet corn looks very good indeed, very healthy. If you check back, have a look through the videos from like last winter, you will see the no dig beds when they were covered up, and you can see really are getting some nice crops there of the old sweet corn over here as well, so expecting decent amounts. I mean, you know, there's probably about 40 plants here, and if each one on average produces 2 cobs, certainly worth setting really. Now looking here, this is purple sprouting broccoli, which will crop next year in the hungry gap, which is generally around March time, when there's not too much else to eat, either from the previous year or from the current year. But you can see it's actually started to crop a bit this year, so crop this year and next year, which is brilliant. These ones over here are getting quite big. Look, you can see that they got this net over them, and it's tight up against it, but you really can't afford to let the butterflies in if possible. And cabbages looking very good. I believe these are golden acre. I mean, look at the size of that one. I mean, that's a big cabbage, isn't it? Not the most healthy looking one, in fact, but this one is. So look at the lovely head on that cabbage. If I put my hand by it, you can see the size of it. So that should be very nice indeed. And some rhubarb chard there. This is chard, variety rhubarb chard. Not to be confused with rhubarb. You do not eat the leaves off of rhubarb, because they are poisonous. Big old rhubarb plants here, got to be said. Covered up here. And the taters, looking pretty potato plant like. And we've got some horse manure here. So yeah, really lots of productivity going on here, which is a good thing. So with all the uncertainty going on in the world, and with regard to food prices, it's worth growing your own food, learning how to do it, teaching others how to do it, eating your own food. You want to be trying to educate yourself on this, because something tells me it's going to be incredibly important one day. I mean, if there's older viewers watching my channel, which I hope there are, or people that have got the privilege to talk to people who were around during World War II, or you've seen the posters, slogans, etc., dig for victory. Well, those days may be coming back again, because you go to the shop now and it's all on the shelves, isn't it? It's all there. Or if you're watching this video and you live in a country where which food is not plentiful or wasn't plentiful once, with regards to things going on, you guys will also know. You will know what it's like not to be able to get food when you need it, and that's not a position that we really want to be in. So if you can find a way of growing some of your own food, even as I've stated before, it's in a tiny little garden or in a window box, it's a thing that you want to look into. You don't need to go mad straight away. You know, it can be a slow process. It could be a project that you can work on over, say, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and slowly work your way into it, because time passes and it passes very quickly, and what you want to do is slowly start working on it. So get yourself a window box, grow some lettuces on your windowsill if you haven't got any space, if you've got a small part of your garden, or if you want to put in for an allotment, do it. But start learning, people, because the world is changing. Okay, enough of that. Sweet corn looks great. I'm off home for my tea. Hope you guys out there are doing well. Take care, speak soon.